Hey y'all, we're going to open a pack real quick, just some Lorcana, and we're going to go out in the garden. This one's just a special to show off my garden. And, you know, there's plenty of people that have gardens and want to see the garden content, so if you don't, then you can skip this one, but you might want to stick around. I might get an enchanted out of here. Who knows? Maybe I'll get an enchanted garden card. Peter Pan and Cubby. Firebird. That's pretty cool. Rescuers. Robin Hood. Sorcerer's Tower. One of the Dalmatian puppies. The Sheriff of Nottingham. I haven't gotten him yet. Madame Medusa. First time it calls me. Not much of a fall. Not a single duck in the bunch. Alright, let's go outside. Hey y'all, quick tour of the garden. Today is Wednesday, April 24th. And this is where we're at. I got a little flower garden here at the end of the house. A pot full of begonias. And these are just different types of what do they call it, phlox. And a coneflower, which is just about ready to bloom. That was a miniature rose that one of those little Mother Day roses planted 3 years ago, and it's kind of gotten bigger. I think it's got some pretty little roses. It should fill out some as we get further into spring. So just a quick tour of the garden. Get through the gate here. Put the phone back around. My first little raised bed I made. It's little, 3 foot by 8 foot, I think. Cinder blocks. Right now I got a diva variety of cucumbers planted. Got some, I forget what those are called, but they've been there for years. Another coneflower here. There'll be a sunflower coming up in that corner. I always do that. And these cucumbers will grow up the trellis here. And over here I got the pepper, the raised bed for the peppers. Now in past years this was full of peppers, but I always had too many peppers, so I decided to cut it down this year. As you can see, I already got one. Made that little hole. Bird must have picked it at some point, but it's not all the way through. It'll be fine. Already got quite a few jalapenos on the jalapeno tree, as it were. In fact, I need to pick these with the E-cracks. They're ready to go. So yeah, they're supposed to be jumbos. As it fills out over the summer, it'll get bigger and bigger fruit peppers. So, and this is another one that I just started. That one's 3 years old here. And these two I just bought and planted. This is another sweet banana like that one. That's another mammoth jalapeno like that. These are 3 of my seedlings that I started in the garage. I don't know what they are. They're either Early Girl, Celebrity, or Better Boy. But I did not label those. Those were just spares left over, and I decided to plant them instead of peppers. And here we got a sunflower a bit too close to a potato plant. I don't know how that potato got there. They were supposed to be right here. I'm about to heal those up as soon as I get off this. That is a bush watermelon, which is probably going to grow out here. I'm going to have to put a tarp down to let it grow on too. But maybe I'll get some watermelons this year. And the beginning of the tomato plants. Now to show you what this looks like right here. I got 2 rows of tomato plant beds with trellis from a cattle panel. That's a cattle panel cut in half, half here, half on the other. And the arc is a full cattle panel bent over and not really secured, but somewhat secured with those T-bars. These were the first ones I planted. I plant some, and then a week later I plant some more, and then a week later I plant some more. That way not everything's ready all at once. Those are going to be cherry tomatoes, some of the best you ever had, called Mountain Vineyard. The early girl's already getting ready to give me some tomatoes, and the better boy is just getting huge. Probably need to prune a little bit of this, because it is growing fast, buddy. Mr. Stripey. Those will be big yellow with the red stripe on them. They're not as much acid in the yellow varieties of tomatoes. Oh, and these are Japanese long beans. They're going to grow up and over and completely fill up this trellis. And there will be beans hanging down. So look forward to that in the summer. The problem is, that sucker ain't come up, and I ain't got no more to plant. I'm putting a Kentucky Wonder pole bean in its place, and it didn't come up. And this is muscadines. And those little things will become grapes. Muscadine grapes, because Concord grapes don't grow worth a crap with all the humidity where I'm at. Maybe up in the North Georgia mountains you might could grow some. I've got stuff to attract pollinators. Compost bin. I forget what these are called. Those have been there longer than I've been here. But we woke them back up a few years ago when I got into the gardening bug. More pollinator attractants and places for insects to lay eggs, and 3 more tomato plants, because the flowers, I figured, what the heck, I need tomatoes more than flowers right now, and I have the plants, and I didn't have any flowers ready to go. So yeah, I'm going to have a lot of tomatoes. Here's another Mother's Day rose from a year later. Not quite as pretty. It'll fill out a little bit, maybe get a little bigger. Confederate rose, I'll show you those when they start to bloom. They're pretty awesome. And the bed right by the house, strawberry patch. And that's what I've been doing today, healing my tomatoes. And when I told someone that, they thought I was going to doctor them somehow and make them better. And I'm like, no man, I'm going to pile some dirt on them. It's called healing tomatoes. Some more cucumbers, sweet potatoes, and good old russet potatoes. Okra. Just coming up. Okra loves the heat, so it's one of the last strings. And field peas, or cow peas as some call them. I think it's cream number 11 or something like that. But I always love those. I just threw them around randomly and they're coming up. I put the net over it to keep the birds from plucking the things up to using their nest, or the squirrel from digging them up for whatever reason. Came out one day and almost half I had planted corn and almost half of it was gone by the darn squirrel. And we got, speaking of that, we got a bird feeder, which he cannot get to. And that's about it for the garden tour, and it was much longer than I anticipated, so maybe I can speed it up and cut some little bits out walking around the yard. But hope y'all enjoyed it. Most of them won't be this long. Have a good one.